you randomly busting some ish down raw dog, dumping in it, and then now you got a 20-year sentence. One thing I'll never do is lie to you. This video is needed because, fellas, I need y'all to stop making these decisions that follow you for years, okay? So we need to talk about the difference between a bad decision and a life-altering decision, okay? Now here are some examples of some one-time little quick mistakes that you might make, especially if you're not in a financial place to do it. A pair of shoes, right? Because some of y'all just want to know what it's like to own a pair of Dior's or Gucci's or Louis shoes. And so you go cop it, a quick $1,200, $1,500, whatever it costs. And honestly, even if you don't really have it or you had to swipe a credit card to do that, that's actually okay, right? You got to get that itch off your back. You got to see what it felt like. You get to now pay that interest back on those shoes to just understand what that feels like about spending money you don't have. Easily recoverable, right? Same thing applies to a bag. That logic is exactly the same, right? You want to get yourself a nice bag? Cool. Go ahead. Spend that bonus you just got. Go ahead and spend that money you got. Like, it's cool. You can recover from a quick bag, right? A night out. You know what I'm saying? You want to buy the boys some drinks. Now, you can't do like a section and spend 15 grand. That would just be crazy anyway, especially if you know you don't have it. That's now delusional. I mean, I don't even want to talk about that. You better not ever do something like that. But I mean, like a night out with the boys, you know that you don't even start getting paid yet, but you want to get everybody around. That's okay, right? What's that's going to cost you? $200, $250. That's cool. You can make $250 back. You know what I'm saying? Any other dumb purchase, any little quick tech item, if you just like, oh, I really want an Apple Watch, that's $350. Don't trip about that. You can make that money back. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that you can bounce back from. Those are just quick-witted decisions that it might not be the best for you financially, but it's okay. Now for the mistakes that can keep you stuck. Number one is a car note, okay? Man, getting that whip to stun on everybody that's busting you over the head for $1,250 a month for the next, and I heard it's like 72-month leases now. Oh gosh, that's vicious. You feel me? Because I know in your mind you thinking, oh yeah, but I'm gonna keep making more, so it's no big deal over this 6 years. Like right now I make this. Listen, that's no guarantee that's gonna happen. And when you trap yourself to such a number, that is just something to really like have to think about on a daily basis. This is something you actually got to prioritize your life around, because of the point that like $1,250, I mean, what, after 3 months is $3,750? Man, I better have got that math right. and so $3,750 can be a trip to Japan. Do you get what I mean? So like when you make that decision to get that car, to flex on these fools, you also giving up other fun ass opportunities that you could be doing. So that's just not like about the point of it being restrictive, but it's also you missing out on life opportunities to help you develop more as a person. Another one is getting too nice of an apartment, okay? So my number for apartments has always been $2,500. I understood that with the way the economy goes, with the way life is going, I also live in LA, that $2,500 for an apartment would always just be my max. I don't see any logical reason for me to go above that number. And I did find a place that's really nice that I enjoy endless amenities for that number, right? But I know people that done went much higher than that, whose spots, don't get me wrong, they fire, but like I couldn't convince myself to spend it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking $3,500, $4,000 for like a loft little spot, which is nice as hell. But I'm just sitting back like $4,000 a month for a spot that I'm never gonna own. Yeah, I'm cool on that. And I know some people might even set it around $2,500, but just where I live, that's just gonna be the norm. You try to find a spot for $1,500, you're gonna be in the hood. So it's just not even the same. So like a lot of times, don't get me wrong, the only time you can get a little pass on your spot is if your spot helps you make money, right? Because like a place like mine with all these amenities, you can definitely this could be a good community spot to bring your friends through. This could be a good spot to shoot your content. So if you also making things happen from your spot, then you get a little bit of a pass, but like watch out for that. The third thing is credit card debt. I get it. You don't like seeing the cash come out of your account, and so swiping that credit card makes you feel way better about it. Yo, look, if you ain't never been in credit card debt and you ain't never had to pay that interest back, it is the worst in the world. You feel me? I always tell this story, but I'm gonna never stop because it's the one that changed my life. When I was 22, man, I swiped that card for $7,000 that I didn't have. And I remember paying the minimum payments on it because I truly didn't understand interest. But my credit was still good, so I went and got another credit card for like $5,000. So now I'm walking around with job at Best Buy making minimum wage with 13, 14K credit card limit. Yo, I wiped that whole 7 limit. Then I started using the 5 joint. And when the 5 started getting lower, I was like, okay, let me go back to the 7. Man, I go back to the 7, it's still at 7. I was like, man, what's going on here, man? Like, why this joint ain't going down? Now I'm looking at it, I'm seeing interest, 250, 250, 250. And I'm looking at it, I've been paying the interest on it for like a year. Card ain't moved nowhere. I'm thinking I'm about to go back and use it. So then I had to develop a whole plan to get that card paid off along with my other card because I've been swiping that one. And yo, the recovery was so absurd. It took me almost like a year to get those back paid off, but I will never go back in credit card debt again. Listen to me, y'all. That interest ain't worth it, right? And I know in your mind, you're like, well, it's just a quick 250. I'm cool. You're not cool because that counts up over time. Do you realize what I could have done with that $6,000? Whether it went to my high yield savings, whether it was a trip to Japan, whether, you know what I'm saying? I could have did something with it. I could have bought that dumbass bag or some shoes or something like that I don't even want just to get it. So you do miss out on opportunities paying back them high-ass interest credit cards. This next one, a lot of our men suffering with having a baby with a woman that you haven't vetted at all because you just wanted to get that quick nut, okay? Now, I'm gonna use statistics really quick. Do you all know on average, a man only lasts about 3 minutes in bed? So if you last over 3 minutes, you are actually above average. Can you believe that? And I say that to say, a lot of y'all, man, be so geeked up to get some cheeks, and I'm a man, and I love vagina too, but you be so geeked up, you be doing anything. And getting a baby, that is like the worst decision ever with someone who you haven't vetted at all. Now, I understand that things ain't always gonna be perfect and things ain't always gonna work out. And anybody with a random baby mama try to say that, you see how people get married and they get divorced. Listen, we're not worried about those. That's not what we're talking about right now. You can't control that. But you can control you randomly busting some ish down raw dog, dumping in it. And then now you got a 20-year sentence with this woman and this kid, right, that you now having to pay child support for because a lot of y'all don't work out. And so then you go into child support too. And so you really suffering. And the amount of men suffering behind closed doors on child support needs to be studied because it's absurd. Like the amount of guys I even talk to that talk about it. And I'm just like, damn, won't make that decision. You feel me? So, man, use them condoms. I'm telling y'all, bro, them 3 minutes ain't worth 20 years. And this last one I got to call out because I know a lot of men are falling victim to being a sacrifice for women. You all are becoming providers way earlier than you are able to actually provide, right? You are out here taking care of a grown adult before you can even take care of yourself. Some of y'all ain't got nothing going to retirement, nothing going to your savings account. You barely able to keep everything each month, but you taking care of another adult. Like, what are you doing? You're not able to do that right now. Work on that shit in the future when you're actually in a position to do it, okay? So these are all things that's very, very difficult to recover from. Moving forward, this is how I want you all to analyze your decision making, because this is how I do things. Before I make a decision, first off, depending on the magnitude of it, I give myself 2 weeks to a month to think on it. And the reason is because I understand at times we make emotional decisions, even if it's not a big one. I'll give y'all a great example. I bought an Apple Watch 2 weeks ago. Now, I actually do have 350. I had already thought about this Apple Watch for some time. I had one years ago, but I really didn't like the way they worked. But I was like, you know what, let me just get one. It got a bunch of cool features, right? And I literally thought on this purchase for almost like 2 weeks, even though it's only 350. And some people would be like, oh, I would have just spent that. It don't matter what's in my account. I needed to make sure it wasn't an emotional decision. Once I logistically realized, yes, I could use a watch to shoot content and use the camera on it. It could track my workouts. I don't really need that. I'm pretty disciplined already. But I was like, let me just see. So then I turned around and got the watch, but then I rocked it for a couple of days and it just didn't fit my life. And so I gave it back. But before, because I already spent the money, I just would have kept it. So that's like another thing as well about them quick decisions, y'all. It's okay to go like, okay, I want this, after your decision and then be like, I'm giving it back. That's the difference too between making decisions that ain't long term. You feel me? And so moving forward, you all got to take some time to think on your decision. And then if you just are that emotional in the moment, you got to ask yourself the question, can I recover from this next month? If the answer is no, then you got to start going down that spiral, y'all, on is it really worth it, right? Because I know the mentality that gets a lot of people is, but I deserve this now. I work hard enough for this now. And I know you do. And I know you need it now, but you don't need the suffering that come with it either. You don't need to be paying off something on interest that like wasn't really worth it just because it satisfied your ego in that moment. Okay, like delayed gratification is the key to success. So overall, remember, you will make mistakes, but the goal is to stop making mistakes that charge you like a subscription for the rest of your life. See y'all at the top.